My name is Ethan Rivers. My mother believed I was the only one who could continue the Rivers family bloodline. She always told me that boys didn't need excessive education, what mattered was marrying young and producing an heir. Everything changed the day the headmaster suggested I should leave school. That's when streams of text began appearing before my eyes, like some glitch in the fabric of reality. Poor Ethan Rivers. His mother keeps him on starvation-level allowance. She sabotages his alarm so he's constantly late. Victoria Rivers even lies to his teacher, saying he left home hours ago. No surprise the school wants him expelled. Ethan's misery is just set up for the main character's redemption arc. Such a waste, Ethan ends up drowning himself because of his mother's pressure. The floating words stunned me speechless. Then I heard my mother speaking to the headmaster. "Mr. Patterson, if you think Ethan isn't suitable for academics, we'll simply withdraw him. He doesn't need school." In that instant, I understood that everything appearing before me was real. I collapsed to my knees. "Headmaster Patterson, please grant me another opportunity." I grabbed the fabric of the headmaster's trousers. "Please, sir. Mr. Chen, give me one more chance. I never intended to be late." My homeroom teacher, Mr. Chen, the headmaster, and my mother stared at me in shock. Mr. Chen's brow furrowed. "Ethan, stand up. I contacted your mother multiple times. She claimed you'd already departed, yet you never arrived." Hearing the teacher verify what the text had predicted, tears streamed uncontrollably down my face. I only receive $70 monthly for expenses. I can't afford adequate food. I'm forced to work illegally at the evening market until past midnight just to survive. When they heard my monthly allowance was only $70, both Mr. Chen and Headmaster Patterson turned toward my mother. She clenched her teeth defensively. Ethan's father died young. Raising 3 children alone isn't simple. His 2 sisters only received $40 years ago. He's getting substantially more. Why is he complaining? More text appeared before my eyes. Those sisters attended school a decade ago. It's 2025 now. $70 monthly. After transportation and materials, cafeteria eggs cost $3 each. Basic lunch is $15. Ethan survives on plain vegetables and dry bread, drinking free tap water. Both sisters have been sending Victoria money since they started working. This mother is pathologically cheap. I decided to risk everything. "Headmaster, Mr. Chen, my tardiness genuinely stems from working late and missing my alarm. Please let me live in the dormitories. With other students around, someone will wake me." My mother exploded. "Ethan Rivers, what are you implying? Are you suggesting I failed to wake you?" "Yes, I admit I disabled the alarm. I saw how exhausted he was from working, so I let him rest longer. I'm his mother. Is caring for my son wrong?" Victoria really excels at manipulation. Making excuses for her sabotage. Claiming to love her son while telling the teacher he's at internet cafes. Grateful my mother isn't like her or I'd lose my mind. Retrospective terror washed over me. My mother genuinely didn't want me educated. The sympathetic expressions from the headmaster and teacher offered me an opening. "Mr. Chen, headmaster, my circumstances are difficult, but I desperately want to learn. Can I apply for financial assistance? If I can eat properly, I won't need night work. I promise to maintain proper sleep schedules. Please allow me to continue. I'll live in the dormitory and guarantee no more tardiness." The headmaster finally relented. Ethan's situation is unique. We only discovered the truth today. The school shares some responsibility. We'll immediately process his dormitory placement and financial aid. We'll expedite everything. My mother attempted to interfere. "Headmaster, considering his grades, if he had academic potential, he'd be at a preparatory academy already." The text erupted again. If Victoria hadn't mentioned it, I'd have forgotten. She sabotaged Ethan's entrance examinations. She spiked his breakfast with laxatives, forcing him to spend the entire exam in the bathroom. He never finished. With his original abilities, Ethan should be at an elite prep school. I don't comprehend Victoria's mindset. She's obsessed with carrying on the bloodline to the point of destroying her son's future. That explained my poor test performance. To prevent my mother from destroying my final opportunity, I interrupted her. Mom, don't worry. I'll study diligently. I won't disappoint you. My mother's lips moved, but she remained silent. To ensure I wouldn't be late the next day, I planned to move into the dormitory immediately. I informed the teacher and went home to pack. My mother stood aside, fuming, watching me pack without offering any assistance. Mom, I'm moving to the dormitory. I won't work part-time anymore, eliminating tardiness. You won't need to care for me, making things easier for you. Unexpectedly, she grew angrier. Ethan, what are you insinuating? That I cared for you inadequately. You're moving out to escape me. Everything I do benefits you. Marry young. Produce a son. Your father's spirit in the afterlife. It was the same script I'd endured since childhood. I finally left that suffocating house. Without late-night shifts, waking properly, and eating full meals, my classroom focus dramatically improved. My grades visibly climbed. Mr. Chen began regarding me with satisfaction. During free time, I monitored the text stream. I learned that most misfortunes in my life had been orchestrated by my mother. What could I do? She was my mother, and I lacked financial independence. However, I gleaned valuable information from the text. My world was actually a novel, and the protagonist would soon transfer to my class. Our protagonist is so unfortunate. Without his cruel stepmother, he wouldn't be exiled to this remote town for high school. Originally, the protagonist felt defeated, thinking his life was finished. Thank goodness for tragic Ethan. Ethan suffers far worse, yet perseveres through multiple jobs. He's the one who inspires the protagonist's fighting spirit. Honestly, I appreciate this tragic Ethan character. Witnessing his struggles makes my daily routine feel less burdensome. Thousand struggle. Before seeing the text, I didn't consider myself particularly tragic, but knowing the future granted me opportunity to change the script. Peaceful days didn't last. My mother called. Ethan, my chest feels constricted. I can't breathe properly. Everything hurts. Come home and see me. I think I'm dying. My heart tightened. I was about to request leave when new text appeared. Victoria deserves acting awards. This fake illness performance surpasses current celebrities. Ethan's been in the dormitory 1 week, missed 1 weekend, and suddenly she's terminally ill. She feels her son escaping her control and she's panicking. Seeing this, I immediately calmed down. Mom, if you're sick, go to the emergency room. I can't help by coming back. I've fallen behind in my studies. I've been catching up recently. I hung up quickly. I thought I'd avoided trouble. The next day, my eldest sister Natalie called. Ethan, what's wrong with you? Mom is that ill and you won't even visit. Mom says you've changed since moving to the dormitory. You don't recognize your family anymore. Hearing the accusation in Natalie's tone, bitterness filled my mouth. Victoria is determined to paint Ethan as an ungrateful son. Natalie is too soft-hearted and gullible. The following day, my second sister, Charlotte, called. Ethan, Mom is aging. She's alone in that house. She's too isolated. If you have time this weekend, just visit. Don't hurt her feelings. I admit Charlotte affected me. Victoria couldn't manipulate Ethan, so she's manipulating his sisters. Classic emotional blackmail. Overdue, but predictable. I actually think Ethan should visit. I'm like him. Every time I go home, my family says upsetting things. But if I don't go home, my heart feels hollow. I miss them. Different voices appeared in the text this time, aligning with my situation. My mother was over 60. She had me late in life. Things were better when Dad was alive. After he passed, I became her emotional support. Knowing she was manipulating didn't mean I shouldn't return. I didn't call back. I planned to surprise her on the weekend. But Friday afternoon, as I walked out the school gates, I saw a crowd gathered. My mother's voice wailed from the center. My life is so miserable. I raised my son through blood and sweat, sent him to school. Now he's grown and won't even come home. I'm sick, bedridden, unable to move, and he won't care for me. What purpose does a mother like me serve? She sat on the ground, tears and mucus streaming down her face. I stepped forward and attempted to help her up. Mom, why are you here? I was preparing to come home. Let's go together. She violently shook off my hand. Go where? You're only saying that because people are watching and you're embarrassed. If I hadn't come to your school to confront you, would you have come home? Do you even acknowledge me as your mother? Students and parents around us were pointing and murmuring. That kid won't even go home. So ungrateful. He appears decent. How can he treat his own mother like that? Mr. Chen happened to be leaving work. He approached and tried to lift my mother up. Mrs. Rivers, what are you doing? Let's discuss this calmly. Please stand up. With the teacher there, my mother wailed even louder. Teacher, don't touch me. Let me die right here. My son doesn't want me anyway. Holy God. Ethan is being publicly shamed before the entire school. I remember the original plot. Ethan was expelled and didn't live in dormitories. It never escalated this explosively. A massive wave of powerlessness and humiliation engulfed me. If I didn't yield, she would return tomorrow and every day after. Until she completely destroyed the school life I'd just rebuilt. My education couldn't survive this turbulence. I lowered my head. Mom, I was wrong. I'll come home every weekend from now on. The crowd finally dispersed. I took the bus home with my mother. She resembled a victorious rooster, head held high, radiating triumph. I kept my head down the entire journey. Unintentionally, I brushed past another student who also had his head lowered. My mother still loved me. She prepared a table full of my favorite dishes. She just spent the entire meal nagging about marriage and children. I simply buried my head and ate, not saying a word. Her love was too suffocating. The weekend finally ended and I returned to school. Early in the morning, the text stream was hyperactive. The protagonist has finally been shipped to this remote town by his stepmother. Wait until Ethan is forced to drown after the arranged marriage disaster. The protagonist will witness Ethan's tragic life and get motivated to stand up for himself. Every time I saw the text mention my future, I involuntarily shuddered. I vowed to myself that I would absolutely not drown in this life. I'd stay far away from any water. Just then, Mr. Chen walked into the classroom, leading a new student. Quiet down, everyone. This is a transfer student joining our class, Derek Sinclair. Scattered applause rang out. The boy on the podium was tall. Even in the uniform, he couldn't hide a distinct aloof elegance. Was this the legendary protagonist aura? Poor Derek, framed by his stepmother and sent to this dump. His heart is dead. He thinks his life is hopeless right now. He's just waiting to waste away. After Ethan dies, the protagonist will get into an elite university, return to the metropolis to start business, and reclaim everything. Within days, I realized Mr. Chen had already assigned seats. The protagonist was my desk mate. Derek showed no reaction. He didn't look at me once. He radiated an aura that screamed, "Stay away." Since he was the main character, I suddenly had a new idea. I was going to ride his coattails. I leaned in and whispered to break the ice. "Hey, new guy. We're both stuck in the same situation." Derek just rolled his eyes at me, completely unresponsive to my friendliness. I tried several topics to engage him. He walled himself off, turning a deaf ear to me, just staring silently out the window. After trying repeatedly and getting the cold shoulder each time, I felt discouraged. The protagonist has massive trust issues. He's not easy to approach. Derek was heartbroken by his father. His stepmother controls the narrative and there's no room left in his dad's heart for his eldest son. Seeing the explanation in the text, I actually felt sorry for him. I had no father. He had one who might as well not exist. Friday after the last class, I packed my bag. The thought of facing my mother's nagging made my scalp tingle. I scratched my head and braced myself. "Hey Derek, if you're not busy, do you want to come to my place for the weekend? My father died young. My two sisters work in the city. It's just my mother at home." When I said the first part, he was unmoved. But hearing I had no father, his eyes finally flickered toward me. To make myself look more sincere, I added, I noticed your homework accuracy is really high. If it's convenient, could you help me study? Surprisingly, he actually followed me to the bus stop. As soon as we entered the door, I announced, Mom, this is my classmate. He lives far away, so he's staying at our place for the weekend. He's from a city and has excellent grades. He can help me catch up. My mother looked Derek up and down. Seeing he looked proper and his clothes weren't cheap, she beamed. Oh my, Derek, welcome. Welcome. Come in and sit. It was the first time I brought a classmate home. My mother was incredibly hospitable, pouring water and bringing out fruit. I breathed a sigh of relief, thinking my mother was behaving today, but it didn't take long for her true nature to emerge. She pulled Derek aside and started probing. Derek, where's your family from? What do your parents do? You're friends with our Ethan, right? Does he have a girl he likes at school? Derek answered vaguely, probably already regretting coming home with me. My mother kept nagging. Our Ethan is just too honest. All he knows is studying. I'm anxious as a mother. I just want him married early so I can hold a grandchild. I was drinking water and sprayed it everywhere in shock. Derek looked at my pathetic state and actually cracked a smile. Derek, you're a city kid. You know lots of people. If there's a suitable girl, keep an eye out for our Ethan. Now I regretted inviting Derek. The text stream was jeering from the sidelines. The classic marriage pressure scene. Overdue but inevitable. Saying this in front of a new classmate. Ethan is getting humiliated again. Look at the protagonist's expression. It's a bit subtle. He looks good when he smiles. I glanced at Derek. His hand was gripping the fabric of his jeans at the knee, trying hard not to laugh out loud. Just then, a knock came from the door. Victoria, are you home? I brought the person over. My heart sank. It was Mrs. Fletcher, the town matchmaker. It was over. This had to be the matchmaking session the text warned about. But I just started high school. I'm home. Coming. My mother responded instantly and hurried to open the door. I suddenly think watching Ethan die inside is kind of amusing. This tragedy just turned into a comedy. This is called building happiness on someone else's pain. Finally seeing the protagonist's expression change. Mrs. Fletcher walked in and immediately spotted Derek. Oh, what a handsome boy. Need me to introduce you to someone? My mother rolled her eyes at Mrs. Fletcher. That's Ethan's classmate. He's a city boy. He wouldn't look at our country girls. Mrs. Fletcher didn't get offended. She smiled and pulled the girl beside her forward, starting to introduce her to me and my mother. Victoria, look, I brought her. Her nickname is Sparrow. She's honest and grounded. She does all the housework at home. Hard-working. You can't deny it. My mother was nitpicking. She's a bit rough-looking, kind of unpolished. Mrs. Fletcher exclaimed, rough is good. It's safe. No one will try to steal our family's daughter-in-law. The key is she's sensible and knows how to take care of people. And for the dowry, her father relented. $7,000 is enough. Hearing the price was only $7,000, my mother was much more satisfied with Sparrow. Mrs. Fletcher had a silver tongue. In a few sentences, she had my mother beaming. Sparrow hung her head lower. She's a good girl. Our Ethan. I interrupted her. Mom, I told you, I only want to study right now. I don't want to discuss this. My mother's face changed instantly. Study. What's the use of reading so many books? You can't hold a grandchild with a book. The river's line is about to die out. She turned to Mrs. Fletcher and started playing the victim again. Mrs. Fletcher, look at this kid. Stubborn as a mule. He doesn't understand a mother's heart at all. Mrs. Fletcher and my mother were performing a duet. A wicked fire surged up in me. Mom, Mrs. Fletcher, stop wasting your time. I don't like girls. I like guys like Derek. The text stream was stunned by my words. Holy God. A curveball beats everything. Ethan is a legend. Killing the enemy by self-destructing. Derek's inner monologue, that time I was forcibly outed in public. Under Derek's usually calm facade, a look of shock appeared for the first time. My mother reacted first, her voice cracking. Ethan Rivers, what nonsense are you spouting? Are you insane? I remembered a line I saw in the text once, to deal with a crazy person, you have to be crazier than them to dominate. I went all in. I'm not crazy. I'm telling the truth, so stop trying to set me up. It's useless. Mrs. Fletcher reacted, grabbing Sparrow and heading for the door. Victoria, your situation is a bit special. You're setting this girl up for failure. I'll take Sparrow back now. She dragged Sparrow out of my house as if fleeing a disaster scene. Mrs. Fletcher, wait. Mrs. Fletcher, don't go. He's just talking nonsense. My mother glared at me fiercely, her chest heaving. She looked ready to murder me. Ethan Rivers, you think you're clever, huh? Just wait until I beat you to death. While my mother went to look for her weapon of choice, I grabbed Derek and ran out. It was over. I had completely offended my mother to the point of no return. Derek's face wasn't looking good either. Ethan, you better give me a reasonable explanation. He was like an iceberg radiating cold air. I shivered. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I didn't know there would be a matchmaker today. Derek remained cold. I didn't agree to be your shield. I squatted on the ground powerless. My mother, to stop me from going to college, put laxatives in my breakfast on the day of my entrance exams. I couldn't stop running to the bathroom. I didn't finish the test. That's why I'm at this terrible local high school. She gives me $70 a month to live on and tried to convince the headmaster to expel me. I poured out all the grievances I had bottled up. I know what I said just now was wrong. I shouldn't have dragged you into it. I'm really sorry, but if I don't fight back, she really might force me into a confused marriage just to give her a grandchild. I got more agitated as I spoke. I just want to finish school, get a real job, and decide for myself who I marry. I laid my most pathetic self bare. Derek didn't speak. He just stood in silence. Just when I thought he wouldn't acknowledge me again, he spoke. Get up. Let's go. I'm buying you dinner. Burgers. Derek lived up to the text's description of a protagonist. I had gambled correctly. Did the protagonist just empathize with Ethan? After all, they're both unfortunate kids pushed to the brink by their families. Keeping each other warm. Derek, fine, since you're more miserable than me, this meal is on me. Got to say, I think they actually make an interesting pair. The text content startled me. I shook my head and took Derek to a cheap diner in a nearby residential building. This time the floodgates opened. I babbled on complaining about my mother. Derek actually responded a bit more. Even so, he didn't reveal his own background. He just said simply, my family doesn't care about me that much. But I already knew his situation from the text. Derek's father cheated years ago. His biological mother died in an accident, and the father immediately brought the stepmother and half-brother home. The protagonist used to have excellent grades. He tanked them on purpose to get his father's attention. Too bad his father only cares about the stepmother and the brother, feeling guilty toward them. He's colder and colder to Derek. Seeing the protagonist's grades drop, the stepmother was overjoyed. She fake-comforted him and sent him to this remote town, claiming it was for peace and quiet. So the protagonist became my desk mate. I advised him gently. As long as the money is there, who cares if they care? Less attention means less trouble. You're actually way luckier than me. At least you don't go hungry and no one is forcing you to breed, right? Derek and I became friends just like that. The following weekend, I went home again. My mother was still angry and hadn't cooked. I put down my backpack and went to smooth things over. The text taught me something new this time. I'm a psychology major. Victoria is doing classic emotional withdrawal. When she can't control Ethan, she uses the silent treatment, like not cooking, as punishment to re-establish dominance. The text was too technical for me to fully grasp, but I knew my mother was psychologically troubled. Mom, I don't really like guys. I just said that because Mrs. Fletcher was there. I did it on purpose. Really? My mother still didn't quite believe me. I was afraid you'd try to set me up again. Please don't be mad. I just want to study right now. I'll think about marriage later. Look at Cousin Brian. He finished college and didn't get married immediately. He wanted to find a good one. Actually, I want that too. My mother's face finally softened, just like the text said about that pathological relationship. The more she couldn't control me, the more anxious she got. I didn't feel good about it either. There was relief, but also heartache. Finals results came out. Derek took first place without suspense. And I, under the protagonist's leadership, miraculously took second. The text praised me for the first time. Looks like mutual support boosts grades. Ethan isn't stupid, just hardworking. Rapid progress makes sense. After school, I poked his arm. So, summer break. What are your plans? I knew going back to that house was the same as not going back for him. I planned to rent a small stall and do some legitimate business. Once school started, I'd hand it over to my mother to manage. If I didn't get into college later, I'd have a backup plan. I calculated for days, then went home to discuss it with my mother. Mom, I want to rent a small stall, do a little business over the summer to earn tuition and living expenses. Predictably, she started objecting. Rent a stall? How much does that cost? And doing business is hard work. I used the script I had prepared. Mom, business is hard, but only by doing business can we earn real money. If business is good, when school starts, you run it. We can hire a helper and you'll be the boss. Seeing she was unmoved, I raised the stakes. Only by making money can we build a new house and buy a car. Then getting a wife will be easy. You like Sparrow because her dowry was low, right? If our family has money, we can find any girl we want. I thought I finally convinced her. It's not that Mom doesn't support you. The family really has no money. Mom, didn't Natalie and Charlotte send you money every month? They send you $1,500 combined. That's $18,000 a year. It's been years. Where did the money go? My mother's eyes dodged mine. She hemmed and hawed for a long time before spilling the truth. Your cousin Brian got a job at City Hall. Your Uncle Marcus said girls wouldn't look at Brian because he didn't have a car to drive to work, so he borrowed it all. Uncle Marcus lived in our town. I dragged Mom to his house. As soon as Aunt Ruth heard why we came, she started crying poverty. Ethan, it's not that we won't pay it back. It's just hard. Your cousin getting that government job cost a lot in networking fees. Where do we have money? Uncle Marcus smoked a cigarette, putting on his elder airs. Ethan, don't let Uncle lecture you. You go to a crappy local high school. How much potential do you have? In the future, you'll have to rely on relatives for help. Your cousin is different. He's a college graduate. His starting point is different. Plus, he has a government job for life now. Spending this money on him is an investment. When he's doing well in the future, will he forget you, his cousin? Aunt Ruth chimed in. When your cousin becomes a director, just a little leak from his fingers will feed you for a lifetime. I was furious at Uncle Marcus's family borrowing money without repaying and then insulting me. My mother stood behind me, mumbling, not daring to say a single word to help me. Holy God! What kind of garbage relatives are these? I'm poor, so I'm right. My son is excellent, so I'm awesome. Their faces are too shameless. The key is Ethan's mother. She's so fierce at home. Why is she silent now? Blood rushed to my head. I blurted out, Uncle Marcus, Aunt Ruth, maybe my high school is hopeless, but I know that paying back debts is a universal law. If Cousin Brian is so capable, why doesn't he earn his own money to buy a car? Why does he have to mooch off his parents and mooch off my family too? You little brat, how dare you talk to me like that? Uncle Marcus raised his hand and slapped me hard across the face. Smack. The force made me stumble back a few steps. My cheek burned and my ears rang. My mother, who had been shrinking behind me, suddenly rushed forward to shield me from Uncle Marcus. Marcus, what are you doing? If you want to hit someone, kill me first. If you dare touch my Ethan, I'll fight your whole family to the death. She rushed forward to claw Uncle Marcus but was held back by Aunt Ruth. Victoria, Ethan has no manners. Your big brother is just teaching him a lesson for you. Only I can teach my son a lesson. No one else. The text exploded again. I really hated Victoria, but seeing her defend Ethan makes me hate her less. Ethan's mother is hard to judge. Human nature is too complex. Right and wrong in toxic families isn't that clear-cut. My mother was ignorant and stubborn. She almost ruined me with her methods. But the moment Uncle Marcus hit me, she was willing to risk everything to protect me. Looking at my mother's trembling back, my nose stung. My feelings were a mess. Just then, a few strategic ideas floated across the text. Reasoning with his family is useless. Doesn't his son value his government job status the most? Go make a scene at his son's office. Ask his boss if they condone employees' families swindling money. To deal with shameless people, you have to use shameless methods. My eyes lit up. This was a good method. Cousin Brian works for the city. He's a respectable man. If his department head finds out he borrowed money from his aunt to buy a car and won't pay it back, the impact. Uncle Marcus got even angrier. Ethan Rivers, you dare. He slammed the table, playing the elder card. Victoria, this is your precious son, threatening his own uncle. But he had just hit me. My mother wasn't going to help him anymore. If I don't see the money in a week, I'm going to City Hall to ask Cousin Brian's boss if he handles these matters. A week later, Uncle Marcus returned the money with a black face. We loaned out $15,000 and finally got back $13,000. Basically, we paid them $2,000 just to lend the money. I didn't bother arguing. I strictly warned my mother not to lend money out ever again. What if I suddenly find someone I like? What if we have no money then? Hearing this, my mother nodded profusely, promising. I used the money to rent a small stall on the food street. Ethan's Melts officially opened. Because the price was good, business wasn't bad. Seeing the business doing well, my mother came to help, but she was more trouble than help. A customer asked for extra spicy sauce. She couldn't bear the cost, so she only dabbed a tiny bit and lectured them. Too much spice causes heartburn. It's bad for your health. A customer said no onions. She grabbed a handful and threw them on. Onions add flavor. It's good. I had to constantly apologize, calm customers, and remake orders. The text couldn't help but roast her. Ethan's mother is raising my blood pressure. This isn't helping. It's sabotage. Here, the customer isn't God. She is. Mom came for a few days, and customers complained every day. She refused to admit her mistakes and even got into a shouting match with a regular. If this went on, my business would tank. I decided to send her home. Mom, go home and rest. I really don't need help here. I can handle it. If I'm too busy, I'll just earn a little less. My mother didn't expect me to send her away. She lost face, threw her apron on the ground, and pointed at my nose. Fine, Ethan Rivers, your wings are hard now. I'm in your way, huh? I'm telling you, without me, this crappy stall will close sooner or later. Let's see how long you last. The text sighed in unison. Never seen a mother curse her own son like this. Other mothers, go get him, honey. Ethan's mother, hope you go bankrupt. In psychology, this is called codependency. Victoria refuses to separate psychologically from Ethan. She unconsciously sabotages his independence to pull him back into her control. Expert in the text. That's the truth. I admitted the text was right, but what could I do right now? Business slowly returned to normal. After the lunch rush, I was about to grill a sandwich for myself when I saw a familiar figure. It was Sparrow. She stood at the edge of the crowd, staring hungrily at the sandwich in my hand, swallowing subconsciously. From the text, I quickly learned her situation. Sparrow's life is bitter too. Her father didn't get the dowry from Ethan's family, so he called her a money-losing product that couldn't be sold. He won't let her go to school and kicked her out to earn money. Why does it feel like her life is even worse than Ethan's? My heart soured. I generously added eggs, sausage, and piled several slices of ham onto the sandwich, wrapping it tight. I handed it to Sparrow in a bag. She didn't take it. I'm not eating. I have no money. I forced it into her hand. My treat. Sparrow looked at the deluxe sandwich, her eyes reddening. Eat it. It won't taste good if it gets cold. Ethan is actually kind. Why can't good people have good endings? Sparrow is a little tragedy too. In the original plot, she was forced to marry Ethan. On the wedding day, Ethan drowned to rebel. After Ethan died, Sparrow was blamed for being bad luck. When Victoria went to Sparrow's father to get the dowry back, they fought and the drunk father beat Sparrow to death in a rage. Victoria and Sparrow's father are truly two top-tier villains. Seeing Sparrow's future for the first time, I suddenly thought, if I change my fate, will Sparrow's fate change too? The text buzzed with activity. Sigh. The protagonist is miserable at home too. A perfectly good summer break, left alone in the house. The fridge is empty. His father took the stepmother and brother on vacation. No one cares about him. This summer sucks. He was happier at school. At least he had Ethan there. Seeing this, I asked Sparrow to watch the stall for a second. I ran to the pay phone. Derek, it's me, Ethan. I kept my tone light. My stall is swamped. Come help me out. I'll feed you and pay you wages. Silence on the other end for a few seconds. Afraid he'd refuse, I added, we can split the profits. It's just on a food street behind the school. He replied faintly, okay. When I got back to the stall, Sparrow was grilling sandwiches. Her movements weren't as practiced as mine, but she looked competent. Grilled cheese has low overhead. During peak times, one person really couldn't handle it. Lots of people left when the line got too long. I thought about it. It was just a matter of adding another griddle. Thinking of Sparrow's situation, I felt for her. When Derek arrived, 2 people could grill and 1 could prep and take money. Not bad. Do you want to help out at my stall? I'll provide meals and wages. Sparrow nodded furiously, terrified of missing the job. I knew Sparrow had nowhere to live. There was a small room behind the stall I rented, originally a storage closet. I didn't need it. Sparrow could stay there. It fit perfectly. Just like Mrs. Fletcher said, Sparrow was quick with her hands. She watched me grill a few times and memorized the heat and steps. You could tell she did chores constantly at home. Soon, Derek arrived. He wore a simple white t-shirt, standing in front of my shabby stall, looking completely out of place. But he didn't say anything, just asked simply, "What do I do?" I quickly assigned him tasks, starting with taking money, packing, and prepping basics. Derek's brain really was superior. After observing for a few days, he analyzed it seriously. Grilling a sandwich takes about 3 minutes. If they have lots of toppings, it takes longer. Sandwiches are mostly for breakfast. Lunch and dinner traffic is lower. The hours are long, but total profit is hard to scale. He pointed at a few booming snack stalls down the street. We should sell snacks. Back in my old neighborhood, there's a type of cold skewer dish called Twilight Bites. It's popular from dinner until late night. We should pivot. Open at 5 p.m., sell until 10 p.m., spend the day prepping. I thought he made a lot of sense. We acted immediately. We bought new gear, a fridge, low tables, small stools. We took down Ethan's melt sign and put up Frost and Flame Twilight Bites. Lots of students and young office workers came out to eat at night. Our food was good and cheap, and we quickly built a regular customer base. At first, Derek was stiff. He couldn't even smile for service. His face was rigid when taking money. Who knew the young women these days would eat that up? They thought he was incredibly cool. We became an internet-famous spot on the food street. Lots of people came just to take a photo with Derek. Profits tripled compared to the sandwich days. This unfortunate trio working together is actually kind of heartwarming. Some girl asked Derek for his contact info and he blushed. Sparrow and Ethan work so hard. Suffering really makes people grow. Derek lived up to his protagonist status. He actively thought about customer acquisition. He even bought a speaker and recorded a looped promo. Practice beats theory, way better than just burying your head in books. Do you guys feel like the protagonist has come alive since meeting Ethan? When it was slow, we each read books without disturbing one another. Sparrow was studying accounting texts. I gave her a thumbs up, hoping she'd succeed. By the way, I only knew her as Sparrow. What's your real name? Sparrow seemed shy, lowering her head to whisper, my mom named me Sierra Vale, but I got Sparrow from laboring outside. Sierra, meaning mountain queen or pure. It didn't match her current rugged appearance, but that was minor. Sierra or Sparrow, you're still you. I'll call you Sierra from now on. Derek pulled 2 new phones from his pocket, handing them to me and Sierra. These are spares from home. Use them for now. It's inconvenient without contact. The protagonist is thoughtful. He bought new phones with his allowance but claimed they were extras. He's protecting our pride so we wouldn't feel embarrassed accepting. Sierra hesitated. I took the phone and pressed it into her hand. I turned and grinned at Derek. Thanks, boss. This was the advantage of partnering with the protagonist. Just as we savored our startup success, trouble arrived. A middle-aged man reeking of booze staggered into our stall. He seized Sierra, who was cleaning vegetables. You damn girl, you're really here. Villagers mentioned seeing you, but I doubted it. How much can vegetable washing earn? Come home. The Miller boy from the next town wants you. Get married. He cursed while dragging Sierra toward the street. Sierra paled, resisting fiercely. I'm not returning. I refuse marriage. Release me, Dad. Let's discuss calmly. I dropped my work immediately. Derek stood beside me for support. Who are you? Scram. I'm handling my daughter. Mind your business. Sierra's father shoved me hard, his alcohol breath hitting my face. I steadied myself, shielding Sierra. She works here now. We have an agreement. You can't drag her off. Agreement. Washing vegetables pays peanuts. He sneered, eyeing me, then blurted, Kid, you fancy this girl? Fine. Pay $8,000. She's yours. He's selling his daughter. Drunk dad is inhuman. Stuck with such a father is tragic. Sierra's endured beatings and scoldings since childhood. Sigh. Sierra, who had just sparked hope for life, heard her drunken father's words and sobbed uncontrollably. Seeing this thug emboldened by liquor, rage boiled in my veins. I'll cover it. I pulled out all our planned monthly profit, 2 thick wads of cash. Here's $8,000. Write a note, from now on, Sierra's marriage is her choice. Unrelated to you. Sierra's dad eyed the money greedily. He nodded eagerly. Right. I'll write it immediately. After signing, he snatched the cash, licking his thumb to count, stuffed it in his pocket, and lurched into the night. Sierra stared at me, tears flowing. Ethan, sorry. That money, I'll repay you. I forced a casual smile. Don't worry. That wasn't a dowry. No debt for you. It was basically our wages early. Money comes and goes. We'll earn more. No pay this month, haha. I'm broke too. I patted her shoulder. In future, we earn together. We'll recover it fast. Then Derek spoke evenly. I have an idea. Remember the buzzcut guy from last week? The one asking for our recipe. I nodded. The recipe buyer? Exactly. I found a base recipe online and adjusted spices. But let's not just sell it. He's local. Transfer the whole stall to him. I didn't grasp immediately. Quitting business. Derek replied flatly. School resumes soon. Students should prioritize studies. Don't you both want university? To escape our fates, we must leave this town first. I glanced at Sierra and understood. Derek planned ahead. With my mother, who knows when she'd demand marriage again? Sierra's drunken dad lacks reason. He'd return demanding more cash later. No honor in drunks. We decided swiftly. The buzzcut guy paid a fair price for the stall, recipe, and gear. We split the proceeds 3 ways. Enough for tuition, living costs, and escape plans. School restarted. Our grades soared. Derek led first, I second. Sierra, now officially enrolled via financial aid, climbed steadily. The text stream buzzed approvingly. This trio defies fate. The tragic side characters stole the show from the protagonist. My mother mellowed somewhat. With steady remittances from sisters and stall sale money, she stopped marriage nagging. Occasionally, she'd visit dorms with homemade food, her eyes softening when seeing my progress. Sierra's dad never reappeared. Word spread he'd squandered the cash on booze, lost everything, and vanished. Sierra breathed free. Derek opened up gradually. His stepmother's schemes backfired, his real talents shone, earning university scouts notice. He confided family betrayals matching the text's revelations. One evening, under streetlights near campus, we sat sharing skewers from a new vendor. "Ethan, thanks for pulling me from isolation," Derek said quietly. Sierra smiled. "And giving me a future." The text scrolled one final message before fading. They rewrote the novel. No bridges, no drownings. Just 3 kids building lives. Sometimes, knowing the plot lets you burn the book. I grinned. No more floating words. My story, our story, was mine to write.